Welcome back to the Green Flag Attraction, the no BS relationship podcast for impact driven high achievers who are ready for
Power Couple Love.
Power Couple Love. I am your host, Sarah, and this is.
I'm Ian. You guys already know.
And every week we are diving into the most commonly asked questions about love and how to create the power couple relationship that you crave. We want to know you and we want to answer your questions, so do not forget to leave your questions in the comments or DM us on Instagram, and we are going to cover questions every single episode, so ask us your questions.
So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
This week is a good one. So this week we are really speaking directly to the person who feels like they're killing it in business, but dating feels like a never-ending loop, no end in sight, or
Spouse doesn't support you, whatever that feels like.
yeah,
right?
or maybe you're in a relationship
stuck.
and you feel stuck, that doesn't meet your needs, it doesn't challenge you.
And
This
really-
episode is for you because we're going to talk about the 5 green flags that you want to look for as a high performer.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they've done the therapy, right? I know we had, right? And they've done the journaling, the manifesting, and the prompts and everything that's out there, and they're just still, maybe even the mushrooms, whatever it is, right? Whatever your flavor is to work on yourself, and they're self-aware. They know what they want for the most part, but they're still attracting emotionally unavailable people.
Yeah,
Right.
we're talking to you. If you are ready to upgrade your standards and have the 5 green flags, for me, these were non-negotiables, but depending on your values, they might be different for you. At the end of each one, we are going to give you a green flag to look for. So if you see this in a relationship, it's a green flag. So let's dive into number 1.
Right.
You want to do it?
You're not intimidated by their drive,
Yes.
right? Or they're not intimidated by your drive, whichever way, right?
Yeah. This
So
was
it's-
so important to me because I had been in relationships previously where they did not respect my drive, and they were definitely intimidated by it and wanted me to slow my success down because they couldn't keep up. And that was not a fun place to be in.
Yeah, same thing. I've had issues where, in past relationships where it's all about the money or it's all about this or I can't make time for that person, but really it's difference in values. Neither one was wrong. So,
Right.
But enough about us, more about you guys and how we can really help provide value to you is you need someone that's going to match your ambition, right? And not so much match your ambition, but at least respect it, right? And understand how
Yeah, you don't
operate
need someone
as
to match your ambition, but you want to make sure that they're not threatened by it and that they support you in the way that you need support. And some of the red flags to look for are if they're giving subtle jabs at you, or they're
passive
telling
aggressive
you
little comments, or
like you need to calm down, or maybe not dream so big. Maybe you're being too much. I've been called that before. And so looking at those as these are red flags of them being intimidated by you and not wanting to support you in the way that's best for you, like, get out of there.
yeah, right. Or have a conversation, right? And maybe some people don't realize that they're doing that, or it's something
That's true.
programming from their past. So maybe it's sit down and have a conversation with your spouse if they are someone that does make the passive aggressive comments or is constantly upset with you.
Asking them where is it coming
and also you have to
from.
look at how you're showing up too, right? Are you
True.
putting in the time you need to be putting in, or that you should, or you feel that you should be putting into a relationship?
Yeah, but
Right.
if you're living in should, then that means that you're living in someone else's values. So there is no amount of should that you should put into a relationship. It's determined by the things that are important to you. And so are you maybe misaligned with your person? Maybe their priorities are different than yours, and that's why it's important to have these conversations very early on, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as a high achiever, because traditionally our lives do not look like a normal 9 to 5. I hate my job. We wish we had more time in the day. And so it's important to talk to your partner and have the conversation of, hey, this is what my work-life balance looks like. This is my values. This is the order they're in, because I am a driven person and I have big goals.
Yeah. And what a green flag looks like there is you want someone that's going to ask about what you're building and how they can support you that week.
Yeah.
Right. That's something that we do. We check in constantly. And there's been times in my life where I'm starting something or I'm having multiple projects at once. And she's like, hey, I know you're in grind mode right now. How can I support you? And what can I expect? Right. From like, how much of my time can I expect to have?
We talked a lot about this
So-
last week in the communication episode. So if you want to learn more about communication, check out that, because we covered a whole episode on asking how we support each other and how to build that communication with your partner. So
make
check
sure you
that
check
out
it
if
out.
that interests you.
Last episode
All
1.
right, number
So,
2, you ready?
Yep. They respect your time without making you prove your priorities.
Yeah, if someone constantly needs reassurance or is trying to compete in your calendar, they do not understand the life that you have chosen, because as an entrepreneur, our priorities are usually our business are very high at the list and other things come second. And for people that grew up in a traditional or have like a traditional job, or maybe they're in a job that they don't like, they don't understand that. And so
Right.
someone who respects your time and doesn't demand too much of it, and respects that you're busy, respects that you have a lot going on, and can,
Or they don't make you feel bad for
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur or putting in the late hours, right? If you have to really focus and prove yourself to someone, then
then
maybe
they're
that's
not accepting you
right.
for who you are. Once you start having to prove yourself, at that point, it's
If you have to
not
explain
a
why you stayed
true
up till 11,
partnership.
12, 2 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
working on a business plan, probably not the best partnership. You want someone that says, oh, I saw you worked late last night. How can I support you this morning? Right? That's
Exactly.
what you want. Or that's what you should be striving for.
Right. The green flag to look for is if they ask you, or if they just say, I get that your schedule is intense, let's make the quality time count. Like, they care more about the time that they have with you, that they value it, they appreciate it, and they also understand that your time is valuable and your schedule maybe is a little bit hectic. And if the right person for you, they'll love that quality about you, and they'll never ask you to prove yourself.
It's true. Now,
Throwing that out there. All right, number 3. They see you and not just your success. It is really easy as an entrepreneur to get caught up in the success and the titles, and there's always feels sometimes like there's a new level that you can get to. But the true connection with having a life partner and having that power couple standard is having someone that is there also in the lows, and that you can have the vulnerable conversations with. Because even when you're on the highs, you're still experiencing new level of challenges. Honestly, sometimes that's when the most challenge is.
well, it's kind of like how it's what we used to call, right? You want your ride or die, someone that's going to
Yeah.
be there in your success and when you have absolutely nothing and you're bankrupt and your business is crumbling or whatever it is, right? Because entrepreneurship can be crazy. You want someone that's going to be in your corner, that's going to support you through all of those times because you're a team, right? Opposed to just being there when you're successful. Same thing with friends. You have a lot of friends that'll jump ship as soon as things are going far, but you really see who your true friends are when you're going through something. Right?
And
In
that
business
starts
or
with
personal.
the conversations and the types of conversations that you have. So the types of conversations you want to look for, the green flags, is they recognize that you're successful, but they ask questions to get to know you on a deeper level. They want to know what genuinely makes you happy. They want to know what lights you up outside of the grind. And it's those deep conversations, those conversations of
They want to know about your life. and how
showing
up-
your cards, being able to check in and have those, one-on-one conversations is super important, especially as an entrepreneur, because we're so busy, and scheduling that time for the connection. But having that as a green flag was so important to me, because I had been in the relationships before with people where they really liked my success. And, it's really fun when, you're living that life. But at the end of the day, I felt so alone. And so it was really important to me for me to be able to connect with someone on a deeper emotional level.
Yeah, I agree.
And
100%.
that was important to you too, because here we are.
There you go.
All right, number 4,
They let you rest your way, which can be
your
pretty,
way is the important part.
yeah, pretty beneficial and important for entrepreneurs because we all have ways to relax or let go, and it doesn't mean relax, right? It's just there's a lot of things that people do to let steam, right? Skydive, or they go, dirt bike riding or shooting guns.
Ian's
or,
a crazy person.
or
So
whatever
he
it
says
is.
skydive because it's his version of a relaxing time.
So that's what you. So the thing is you have to find someone that sees that and accepts that and is cool with being like okay with you going out and doing something, right? Going out and doing something adventurous or exciting without your partner, right? Not getting upset or making you feel bad because they weren't invited or you didn't go, or whatever the situation is. Is there's times where girls need girl time, guys need guy time. You need individual
Or you just
one-on-one
need
time by
alone time.
yourself. Yeah.
Can you tell who's more of an extrovert because all of your things include other people for rest and recharge? And my version is the opposite. I like my alone time. I like it secluded. And
Well, definitely, when it's just me and you're gone and Jace isn't here, then I'm definitely a recluse and I stay in the house and I just kind of relax hard. But that is
that's
a
because you're
recharge
forced to.
time.
You never do it by choice.
Yeah, typically. But
So someone who understands like you rest and recharge your way, because for Ian it's jumping out of an airplane and like last year you were like, hey, I'm going skydiving today. I was like, all right, see you later. We have different interests. I've never been skydiving and there's just things that we do separately. And so I do not call that resting, but my version of rest is definitely different than yours.
or
And so
rest and recharge for me is taking my son to the skate park on Wednesdays for a half day, right? And like we're hanging out. So there's different ways that you rest and recharge. You have to have someone that supports that, right?
yeah,
And is there
and
to have your back.
I've had partners before who didn't understand it, and they did not like me doing things by myself. And so, a green flag to look for is if they're curious about you and put your priorities first. So ask questions like, "What does recharge like for you?" And is that something you want to do? Do you want to do it by yourself? Do you want me included in that? And so your rest is something that you don't have to earn, and it's also not something that you need to ask opinions about because we all rest and recharge in different ways.
Yeah.
And it's important if you want a power couple relationship to have someone who supports that.
Yeah. So like we said, the green flag there is just having someone that's having those conversations with you about what does recharge look like for you and being supportive in that. Cool.
All right,
So
number 5. They don't confuse confidence with control. As an entrepreneur, we usually tend to be decisive, fast,
Yep.
decisive.
We don't lean on
get
other
what we
people.
want.
We typically are
don't
the
take no
decision
for an
maker.
answer.
Yep.
And in a relationship, if you're not someone who understands that that's just confidence, it can be mistaken for control.
Or arrogance.
Or arrogance.
Cockiness or whatever.
And as a female, especially, this is being told you're too bossy. You, like a man.
You need to tone it down a little bit.
You need to tone it down. A man would never be told those things. And so, especially for females showing up in a relationship, being really confident can be intimidating to some men. And so,
But it goes the same way with for females too, because the guys can be overly confident or too cocky, and it's a turnoff for some women. Right?
There's a difference between cocky and confidence.
Or arrogance. Yeah.
There's a difference when it's like someone is confident when they're also humble. When you have the arrogance, the cockiness, there usually isn't humility mixed in there. So we're just talking about straight confidence to be able to ask for what you want.
Yeah.
And women are called bossy and all of that like men are never called those things.
Yeah. It's like
right?
men, ask yourself if you went and booked a trip today, cross country, everything all set up, and you told your woman you're leaving tomorrow, would she be okay with it? Does she trust you? Right? But with you being confident and taking control, would that be okay, or would that cause issues? That's something that it's kind of like.
Well, every relationship is different and has different standards. We both value freedom and independence. And so because those are high values to us, like that wouldn't bother me. We do solo stuff and we do stuff separately. But for other people, you might value something different. So just because you can't do that doesn't necessarily mean
No, I'm talking
anything
about
bad.
booking that for you and your girl to go on a trip and saying, "Hey, get ready, we're going in a couple days."
Oh, going in a couple days? I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on what the
Having the confidence.
having the confidence
The
to be able to
the
take
trust is
control.
like, yeah, be like I respect it. Like I trust I trust your judgment. Like I'm ready
Yeah.
to go on any adventure. Right? That's how I am with you. That's how
Yeah.
you are with me.
But I also value spontaneity and I love surprises. So again, it depends on your relationship.
But at the end of the day, a green flag is they trust your opinion, right? They trust your judgment. They support you. They understand that sometimes you're going to take control, and that's okay. But also, you want someone that's going to take control too.
Yeah.
Right?
You're looking for partnership. You're not looking for a fan. You're not looking for a yes person. You're looking someone to really that you can rely on, that you can
Yeah.
bounce ideas off of. Power couples aren't just complacent. And so one of the conversations we're constantly having is how can we evolve? How can we be better? How can we show up for each other better? But also, how can we be better as individuals? And it's a conversation that we not only have with each other, but we also have with ourselves. And so true power couples, I believe, are putting themselves first because they're getting their needs met. They have their own goals, their own aspirations, and they're willing to bring it to the table and have honest conversations about what they want moving forward and fully knowing that their partner is there to support them and cheer them on no matter what it looks like.
Yeah, and they're focused on the partnership, not just themselves, right? So
Exactly.
they get to know what makes their partner click, what they need, how they can best support them. They're checking in with them. They're not making it all about them. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we can get tunnel vision, especially men, and just can kind of make it all about us without, we lack in certain things we were doing around the house we did before or whatnot, right? Because we're hyper focused on one goal and one mission of
I
making
get
money
that way as
and bringing
well.
things in. So sometimes so that's why it's good to constantly have those check-ins, because if someone's slacking in one area or if it's doing something that's causing an issue in the relationship, you can squash it before it becomes something that it doesn't. That's all about it. That's all also in our last episode, right, about communication and making sure that you communicate openly and freely about just what's going on in life, man. What's going on in your relationship.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Well, all right. When it comes to the most common mistake of why people ignore green flags is usually you are addicted to the drama and your subconscious
It's
is
programming.
wired, it's your programming, and you're used to that turbulence. I know that I was. So once
And also, it's a huge up and down roller coaster, right? You get these huge highs when it's good, and you have
highs,
all
highs,
these,
the
and you use
highs
these
are
big, and all
highs.
this dopamine hit, right? And then you go down, and then you're waiting for that, and it's going to come back up because it's a roller coaster. So
Yeah.
people, they get caught in those flows, right? Those patterns, and
Yeah.
and if they're not, even when they're conscious of it, they know they can do better. They know that they're settling, and they know they're selecting the wrong person. They keep going back to it because it's what's normal for them. It's what their brain knows
I find this
subconsciously.
I find this really specifically in the high achiever group because we love the roller coaster. We're always chasing something new. We're always chasing a new challenge. And so when it comes to being comfortable in something healthy, like a healthy relationship, it can feel boring. It can feel complacent. It can feel not challenging. And if you're used to the addiction, that's why I call it like the addicted to the drama. If you're used to the ups and downs of the challenge in a relationship, then it's going to be really difficult for you to settle in a relationship that is peaceful unless you're aware of that pattern and you've chosen that you want something different. Because my relationship with you I call it effortless and so peaceful because it is like that, and I've never had a relationship like that before because it was always so turbulent.
Yeah, and the reality is a lot of people it's literally science, right? It's the chemicals that are being secreted in your brain, right? All the different cortisol and stress hormones, but also the dopamine and everything else, and your body that's what it's used to, so it's seeking that. So until you recognize what your patterns are, and you work on reprogramming your patterns, just like habits or creating something new in your life and business or with fitness or health or whatever it is, it's the same thing in dating and your relationships too.
Yeah.
So you realize what it is, and then you're conscious of it, and you focus on not breaking that pattern of that cycle.
Yeah.
So
If you keep dating people that feel like it's too easy, it can feel really boring. It might just be that you don't feel anxious anymore.
yeah, like it's not that it's your body's used to the bad excitement, not the
Right.
good excitement, the bad excitement. It's like, oh, I'm not triggered anymore. I'm not having all these things. I'm safe. So it can make it hard for you to open up or sink in. I know it was for me in the beginning. I'm a very open person, so I was open, but I was always looking, the fear of abandonment and all these things that would creep in before I did all the work around you know, if I really open up to this person and yada yada yada, what's going to happen? But the reality is you just have to really trust your judgment,
We
right?
both definitely trusted the process because you were very open and honest from the beginning. And I had so many inward fears and doubts creep in where it was like, this feels too good to be true. But then I remember, like, I've been doing my affirmations, I've been working on my reprogramming. Why? I just remember telling myself, why not me? Like, why can't it be easy? Why can't I meet someone who's honest? Why can't I meet someone who tells me exactly they want from the beginning? This is what I've been looking for. Why not me? And so when you change your mindset of everything that I want is attracted to me, and I know that it's out there and that person is going to look like this and I'm not going to accept anything less. I just so believe it becomes this super attraction magnet because you no longer are going to entertain anything that doesn't serve exactly what you're looking for. And when I met you, it was just so effortless. And I just had to keep reminding myself, why not me? Why not me? You deserve this. You deserve this. And I'm so grateful that you really trusted the process too, because I know that that took a lot of courage to put yourself out there and all the cards out there so quickly.
Yeah, and it's different, right? I'm a single father, so I have a son that's also related. So it's a different dating experience, and a lot of dads out there can understand, and moms, right? Is it's different when you're bringing someone new, not only into your life, but also into your son's life and into other people's lives. So it's a different mix. But you just have to ask yourself, like, do you have a partner that you truly deserve, right? And are you being the partner that your partner truly deserves, or are you settling, right? Or are they settling? Right? That's really good to kind of ask yourself that question is, like, where are we at? Do you deserve more? Is this your person, right? And if
The
it
biggest
is,
thing is taking personal responsibility and saying, am I being the person that my person deserves? Because you can only control yourself, you can't control the other person. But can you do things to make the other person, like, you know, can you show appreciation to them? How can you show up for them? And sometimes it just isn't your person. I mean, we're both divorced, so we understand that sometimes you just have to cut your losses, learn the lesson, and move on. And it's scary to start over. And that's one of the questions that most people struggle with is, is it going to be worth it? But at the end of the day, you are the only person that gets to decide your standards, and you get to decide, is this how I want to live the rest of my life with this person?
yep, and it's not going to happen overnight, right? Just because you realize that you have some patterns, it's going to take time to break those patterns. So have some grace with yourself, right? That's
Yeah.
when the self-sabotaging stuff comes in, and we start, sabotaging relationships because it's weird or it's too good to be true, or it's not hard, it's too easy, like you said. So it's just give yourself some grace, and you do deserve a good,
But
effortless
practice,
relationship.
I mean, practice the affirmations, practice that, because I wouldn't have gotten through our beginning stages of dating in the same way if I didn't have that as a roadblock, as not as a roadblock, as a foundation and as a tool for me to always come back to it.
Yeah.
Because all the other times my thoughts and my patterns had sabotaged it. And so what I'm trying to say is give yourself the tools, find the support, practice the affirmations, because becoming aware of a pattern, like you were saying, isn't enough. It's having the tools to be able to change the pattern.
Yep, 100%. So, what we want you guys to do is, and also if you have troubles, if you're having challenges, if you don't have people to reach out to us, right?
Yeah.
Send us a comment, send us a
Please ask
DM, get
questions.
us up on Instagram, right? We're
Yeah.
both on pretty active. So let us know how we can help you, how we can better support you. But, kind of look at your relationship you're in now, look at the last relationships you've been in, look at the relationship you want to create, whatever it is, and just kind of audit yourself, right? Audit the process you went through, kind of how you were showing up, how they were showing up, and see kind of where these 5 green flags, were they present, were they there, do you align with these, what are your top 5, right? Let us know if you align with these top 5, or if you have others that you add to your mix. We'd love to know that too. So just engage with us, let us know what we can how we can help you, submit your questions, right?
And for my journal girlies, I have a journal prompt because I love my journal prompts. And the journal prompt of this episode is, what do I need from a partner versus what am I used to tolerating? Because when you get clear on what you need, not necessarily what you want, wants versus needs, what you need from a partner versus whatever
Non-negotiables.
you have been used to tolerating, your attraction patterns, your habits, when you truly decide on what you need, it's going to shift everything because it's like this blueprint that's going to help you make decisions confidently. So yeah.
So you built a business. Now go build a love life that supports it, not sabotages it.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Yes.
So make sure that you drop
Drop
your
your
question,
questions.
subscribe, like, share this with any friends, anyone you know, colleagues, whatever it is, exes, whoever needs to hear this, let them know. Send it over.
The bestie who's struggling.
Yeah, reach out to us if you need anything. Send it with love, not
Yes.
with you need to do this, but with love.
With
and,
love.
Yeah, but let us know. And also,
How many green flags does your boyfriend have? None? Dump them.
Yeah, get rid of them. If you're only on like 1 of 5, it's not looking too good. But that doesn't mean that there's not hope. So don't give up too easily.
Hey,
But-
I'm a practical realist,
Yeah.
really. So
And you know. But
if
outside
you
of that,
want to make money and get laid, do not forget about our
Who doesn't?
master
Who
class
doesn't?
coming on
May
May
15th,
15th. Make money, get
live.
laid. We are going to teach you how to have a rock star relationship and how we as entrepreneurs have really grown our relationship with ourselves individually to create the power relationship that we have. So we're going to be sharing our relationship blueprint, some tips and tricks, and we're really excited. So we will see you there May 15th. All right, next week, episode number 3 of season 2.
Red
See you there.
flags.